Hi, good day. My name is William T. Dongo. I'm here again. Will be your instructor for today, discussing the continuation of the climate control and refrigeration technology. The thing matters is the residential and commercial air conditioning, and the lesson number will be lesson number 5 on this series. It will be about the electrical diagram. Over here we gonna discuss the diagnosis. Oh no, the diagram, we talk about the purpose, schematic diagram of the simple air conditioning unit, and then schematic diagram of a package air conditioning unit, pictorial wiring diagram, advanced wiring diagram, and then installation wiring diagram, and then how to read a wiring diagram. The one lecture I'm giving is just everything is a lecture. To get more information, the actual, just like the wiring diagram, you can go more research through the other books, or go more on the YouTube, in which all our friends that are really professional in the field present a lot of instructional video, just like me, in which the lecture that they have given is really very interesting. I was really surprised that the people, the real professional, puts a lot of good instructional video. Okay, the one I'm talking about today is electrical diagrams. Okay, electrical diagrams. The purpose of the diagrams, in short, is electrical diagram dictate what the unit or components should be doing. The schematic diagram tells how, when, and why a system works as it does. Being able to read and interpret schematic is very important part of troubleshooting. Troubleshoot the industry to show a systematic layout of a control system, range from simple to very complicated or complex, depending on the application. Residential system use simple schematic with a few components. Large commercial and industrial system usually have a complex diagram. 5 basic types of schematic will be discussed. Schematic wiring diagram of a simple air conditioning with line voltage controls. Schematic diagram of package air conditioning unit. And then pictorial wiring diagram, advanced wiring diagram, and then the installation wiring diagram. I recommend that you do more research on this particular diagram, because on this lecture, because it's too short to really give a complete picture on this. But when I didn't put my lesson plan for basic electricity and electronics yet into the YouTube, but I'm ready. I'm preparing my lesson plan that I can give more information on those schematic drawings and use when I make that module or series. Okay, the basic electricity and electronics for air conditioning and refrigeration. Okay, now schematic diagram of a simple air conditioner. Air conditioning system with line voltage control. Indoor fan motor controlled by a switch. Indoor fan motor operate with a double or single throw switch. Both indoor fan motor and compressor run at the same time. Compressor cycle off by thermostat downstream at double pole single throw switch. Compressor will not run unless IFM is running. That's letter B. That's the one I talk about, is the schematic diagram of a simple air conditioning. And then the next one is a schematic diagram of a packaged air conditioning unit. Almost all residential air conditioning system is a 24 volts circuit. A transformer is needed to reduce line voltage primarily to low voltage supply secondary. Top portion of the diagram above the transformer is a line voltage system. And then both portion of the diagram below the transformer is a low voltage control circuit. The low voltage control portion of the system open and closes relays and contactors in line voltage portion of the circuit. And then you got the pictorial wiring diagram. Pictorial wiring diagram, also referred to as the label or line diagram, intended to show actual internal wiring of the unit. Components of the control panel shows as a blueprint, not to scale. Used basically to locate specific components or wires when troubleshooting. In some units, a pictorial is conjunction with a schematic, can be found also known as the pictorial diagram. And then the next one, letter E, is the advanced wiring diagram. Advanced wiring diagram can become increasingly complex due to the addition of various components. Schematic is broken down in a circuit by circuit arrangement. Timer and timer relay circuit have different use and applications. Components delay is the primary function. And then compressor circuit. And then you got condenser fan motor circuit. And then you got circuit safety control. Okay, remember those are different circuits that are being made and installed in the system. And then you have the installation wiring diagram, used to help the installation electrician to wire the unit properly. Gives specific information, the terminal, wire sizes, color coding, breaker of fuse size. Does not go into detail about equipment operation. Electrician does not need to know equipment operation. Electrician has no need to know equipment operation. Show very little internal wiring. How to read a wiring diagram? Where to begin? To begin with reading the wiring diagram, you must check your power or your power source first. Without power, you cannot perform good troubleshooting. Get an overall picture of the diagram. Check for all the information given in the legend, cross-reference number, and special notes. Okay? And then troubleshooting using diagram. Troubleshooting using the diagram. To perform effective troubleshooting, you must do it systematically. Familiarize yourself with the schematic. Locate component that is preventing unit from operating properly. A fan motor, compressor, and relay. Example, a fan motor, compressor, and a relay. Find out where or what is preventing that components from operating. And then remember to stick with that particular circuit. Use all your resources that are given to you by the wiring diagram. Repair the problems. It is always important to remember that a wiring diagram shows components in non-energized position. That is useless, otherwise specified. And then we will have a complex diagram. Complex diagram, the residential equipment diagram. Not very many complex diagram in the residential application. Higher efficiency units with state-of-the-art electronics can have a complex diagram. Interpreting a complex diagram is not different if broken down to the circuit by circuit method. And then you got the commercial and the industrial one. Okay, complex diagram can be several pages long. Know how to use terminal boards instead of tracing very single wire. Components can be in areas no reading accessible to a technician. And then we have the ladder diagram. Ladder diagram and diagram increase in complexity. It is very difficult to have a pictorial on a unit. Ladder diagram reduce the clustering of wires of components. All wires don't have to be drawn out. Components also don't have to be drawn. Instead, schematic symbols can be put into their place. Ladder diagrams are not limited to complex wiring diagram. Okay, the service technician should have a ladder diagram. Well, read my last. The service technician should be able to read all the schematics in order to troubleshoot the control system of all AC, heating, and refrigeration system proficiently. Okay, that's all I have on this lecture. Make sure you master reading the diagram, the different type. But for me, I use the one that I use that is very beneficial for me is the ladder diagram. When I was teaching at the institute, I emphasized mostly, and I trained, I pinned down training how to build a ladder diagram. I taught my students over there to look at the actual equipment and then make a pictorial. Out of the pictorial, then you do your ladder diagram. Because ladder diagram, let's say you got a service and you go in there, and then the person that called you, he disassembled the equipment, and then he went to the dead wall, and then he said, "Oh, I cannot put this back together." So he called you, but all the wiring are all messed up already. So the best thing I can recommend is just go to the pictorial of the actual equipment, and then analyze how you can make the ladder diagrams. Just like you got your relay, and then you put your contactor, you know, your relay, and then your load. You got your contactor that will activate your compressor, activate your fan, and you know, then you make the sketch on the pictorial, and then you make it into the ladder. Okay, that's all I have right now, and thank you very much again. And if you ever been one of my students when I was teaching over there at Fremont in California, and now it's almost 20 years past, and then if you really good and you got your own business, then don't hesitate to say hi notes on my YouTube video, and I appreciate it, because I'm so happy if I ever see you that you're really very successful in your field now. Thank you. Bye.